thought we'd start today since we are going to talk a little bit about retention, and we know we get paid with retention, and that's what's important to us in the industry, with a good quote here. So every contact we have with a customer influences whether or not they'll come back. We have to be great every time or we'll lose them, and that's no joke, right? Most of us don't do one-call closes, not because we don't have the skill, but because this is such a complex sale that our clients have to think about it. As we go through, we know we get paid on retention, so the better our clients stick, the more important it is. But every time we work with a client, we have to dazzle them. We have to make them want to work with us and give them a reason to come back. So that's why I thought we'd start with that pretty good quote. So happy Monday. Now, if this is your first Motivation Monday, they are about 15 to 20 minutes. We try to get through quick to get you back on the phone. So we go through a tip of the week. We'll take a look at our sales shout outs. And then the end, of course, we're going to talk about retention. So the tip of the week for this week, we got a few going on. So the Nat Gen updates, right? So Utah is 12 months, and it's a 12-by-2 state now. So that's a huge win for us. I know with my old Utah business, this is a big one for me. Michigan is back, too. We have a ton of people who write Michigan, so having Michigan back is a win, as well as Iowa and Tennessee. Now, what they did there, just like all the other products that have the deductible plus the $5K to show the out-of-pocket max, Iowa and Tennessee moved to that. Eventually, all their products are going to move over to that, but these two made it this round. One word of advice as well, or one thing, next week there is no Motivation Monday due to the holiday. I'll be out boating. I hope you're going to do something equally fun, but no Motivation Monday next week. The following week, we are going to have Nick back, the guy who talked about that coverage builder. So he's going to give us a few more tips and tricks. So we'll have a little bit more of Nick coming up soon. Now, taking a look at what we are selling. We're mainly selling UHC and Nat Gen for our short term. I'm guessing with this big Utah thing, the Michigan thing, that we'll see Nat Gen have a pretty good uptick. We've been, looking for other carriers in that area. UHC, especially with them now being in Minnesota, that's kind of a good one for us. With that limited med, we really lead with that foundation health, especially since they've done those enhanced benefits, lowered the price and enhanced the benefits. We've been selling more and more foundation health. For the accident plan, we've been doing a lot of the plan enhancer. So that Nat Gen plan, they are going to be doing a pretty big release. I know we talked a little bit about it. They're launching new short terms, so they're going to have 3 new short terms instead of the one, rumor has it. In addition, I heard they're going to be doing some improvements to the plan enhancer, which is funny because I don't know how much more they can improve, but they said they're going to give it a shot. Critical illness, we're going to be leading there with Nat Gen and UHC, and of course with dental, it's Emeritus. Taking a look at who our sales leaders are short term. We have William taking first there, Kimberly taking second, Kimberly having a great week, might add. Katia Santa Maria there taking third. With our limited med or fixed benefits there, we have Jacob Gordon and then Victor Kovchinsky there. Good job, Victor, coming back up on top. And then in accident, we have Cody taking first and then Kimberly taking second. So the tip of the week is those Nat Gen changes and no Motivation Monday. Our sales leaders are obviously here, leading with some pretty healthy product spread. But now we're going to talk about 5 things you can do to increase your retention. So some of the things you can do to increase your retention, and this is actually all taken from customer feedback. So a lot of agents go, yeah, some of this I know. Some of this you might know, but the best agents once a year go what we call back to basics. What have you been doing? What made you where you are today? What can you do to start over and go back to basics? So speed of service, number 1 here. So if you get a lot of questions, myself included, I've gotten probably a couple dozen questions this morning, just wanting to make sure, that a few things are right. Make sure you can respond to them quick. Responding to questions is a very big thing because after somebody buys a policy, you'd be shocked what a lot of agents do is they forget about the client. They already bought it. Who cares? I do. So I'll get calls from clients just like you do saying, you know what, I was working with XYZ agent. My wife got pneumonia. Didn't help us with any of the claim forms. We couldn't figure it out. Wind up calling UHC directly. Horrible customer experience. One of the things I pride myself in is first off my speed of service. No, if you have a question, I'm going to get back to you within 24 hours. Unless, of course, I'm out of country, then you'll get my beautiful away message there. Let them know when. You're going to get those one weird oddball questions. That's a great question. Actually, I haven't gotten that one before. Give me a few days to get back to you about it. I'll work on it today, but with the way the offices work, it could take a bit of time. And then be a resource and someone that educates them. So with your speed of service, one of the things that will reduce your needing to go back through services over and over and over is educating your clients. We want to have clients for their life, especially, those people who do Medicare. You want to have those clients for their life. If you give them a little bit of education, then they're going to be self-sufficient. Not only that, they feel empowered. When a person feels empowered, they are more than willing to offer you their friends and family. So if you get somebody, don't be the agent who just answers the question. Be the one who answers the question and then give them a little bit of the why. If it's, not everything you can do, don't get me wrong. But for example, I have a NatGen policy where the claim form, actually all claim forms are going to be located right here. If you have any questions on them, do let me know. Then, when you walk them through their first claim form, kind of give them what the company is looking for. So speed of service and education are going to kind of tie back to back. If you wait to respond, they will call the general number. A lot of carriers do have direct-to-consumer sales, meaning that that person, if they're impatient and just starts pushing numbers, is going to be sent to a salesperson. When they are sent to that salesperson, that person's a licensed agent on top of that. All carriers have it. Be the one who does their due diligence. Number 2 here is know how the policy works. You think that's kind of funny, but it's not. So a lot of it, I go through. I like to get lists from the carriers of the complaints that clients have had. So you talk about carriers having retention teams. Some of the retention teams will, depending where you are, give you some information about it. They said one of the number one issues that they have, and I was working with the National General team there, is that they are confused between the difference of copay and reverse copay. I was talking in front of a group of agents. The youngest one was probably been in the industry for 3 years, and they laughed at this. Like, oh, well, clients should be able to do it. And so we were talking about the policy. We were actually talking specifically about that NatGen short term in the state of Florida, where they used to give you the $50 there towards your first dollar benefit, and they couldn't explain it. So yes, this is why clients are going to get confused. So have them repeat it back to you. 2 things I do in my sales process every time is I look for stories that are going to relate into what I'm selling. I try to have the client elaborate on their stories and then having them repeat it back to me. So if you know the old 20, 50, 80 rule, clients are only going to remember 20% of what's told, 50% when they write it down, and 80% if they can tell it into a story. So somebody gets into that accident, you explain how the short-term and accident plan works. Go, okay, just want to make sure we're on the same page. So if you go skiing again and get into that $10,000 accident, what's going to happen? Okay, now you're challenging the customer. In turn, they're actually owning the policy themselves. They feel like they can understand the benefits because they can, and that's going to make them want to keep it. Supplements are the most important for them to understand, because they cancel them 90% of the time because they don't understand how they work, which means they don't see value. So if you are tying the supplements into the story you're talking about, make sure the client can repeat back how supplements work. Supplements are some of the strongest policies out there for our clients, right? Once they get a supplement, they get it up and going, they tend to keep it. Once they figure out how the supplement works, they tend to keep it. Like fixed benefits, some of the highest retention in the industry are fixed benefit products from a client who uses it. So let them know how the policy works. Make sure they can tell it back to you, have them tell the story. Number 3, really common reason why people cancel is because they don't know when the money is going to get drafted, right? People are more comfortable now with multiple line items coming out of the account. Common questions are always, hey, when is this going to be drawn out of the account and what is it going to look like? So if you are selling, let's say, let me take a look at what we commonly sell. So you're selling a NatGen short-term, a Manhattan Life fixed benefit, a NatGen plan enhancer, a Colorado Bankers critical illness, and then Meritas Dental. 5 policies, right? 4 different carriers. How many drafts though? Well, if it's that NatGen short-term, then 6, right? So short-term, then you have the association. Then you're going to have the NatGen supplement. the critical illness supplement, the dental supplement, and that fixed benefit through Manhattan Life. They might all have different draft days too. So what I do, take this one for me, say, hey, grab a pen and paper, do this. I'm going to give you exactly what's going to come out of your account when. So when you're going to give me a call and say, hey, why am I being drafted? I'm just going to say, take a look at your fridge. So I go through, I have my clients write down every policy they have, the day it's going to be drafted, what it's going to show out of their account, and the dollar amount. If you don't know what it looks like on their account, that's actually a very good thing to research. That's going to be worth 5 minutes of your time. If you don't know what Manhattan Life looks like when they're being drafted, no, just so you can say, hey, this is what it's going to look like when it's coming out of your account. And that's going to be the $123.60 that we talked about. Also, schedule retention time. I have talked about before. I like to block off my calendar. We try to stick to it as much as you can. It's life. You can't, right? But we try, okay? So first thing is I like to schedule retention time. Retention time could mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. The first thing I do is I pull my NSF ones, so non-sufficient funds. I take a look at those lists by each carrier. Easy way to save about half your business is just to call out. Just say, hey, you know what, it looks like your credit card missed drafting last month. Did anything go on? Oh, shoot. I changed over my credit card and I forgot a few things. Super common, right? That's one of the reasons why I like to do bank accounts, but if your clients are on credit cards, a really common thing is because they changed a card. I like to make sure I pull those NSF lists at least weekly. You can do it each day if you want to keep on track. It's really nice in the beginning. So if you are new in the industry and you've only been here for less than a year, important to watch each client and see what happens. Those are always going to be good learning experiences for you in the future. You can track it on an Excel or in your CRM, like that coverage builder, right? You can always put your notes in there. And that's just going to track when did you call them. Maybe the client is going to be dodging your calls, but at least you'll have a tracking method at that point. Make sure to schedule retention time at least an hour or two a week. So you can go through and track those clients who've fallen off. You can save a lot of business, which means you're going to save yourself a lot of money. And then make sure they have the resources. So I have a good friend. One of the best things that she does is she, at the end, emails each of her clients not only the policy, when they're going to be drafted, what the dollar amount is, and in addition, where they can get the claim form and a copy of the brochure. That's after the sale. She does this for each client. I'm like, wow, that takes you a little time. She goes, it absolutely does, but I watched my retention grow. She goes, so afterwards, she has an email format that she does, 5 boxes across. Here's your policy. Here's what it looks like. Here is the drafted day, dollar amount. And this is where you go from claims. Attached up on the top is going to be the brochure. Do people delete it? Yeah, sure. Don't get me wrong, they do. A lot of people will save it. And then when they call you saying, you know what, I pick on the wife has pneumonia again. My wife has pneumonia. Okay, remember that email I sent you? If not, we can try to find it and pull it up. That's going to have to where we were going to have to go. So if you do a lot of face-to-face sales, feel free to do that in a sheet. So keep those useful. Copy and paste that sheet, send that down. And then also let them know who to contact with questions. If you have an assistant, make sure that they contact your assistant first. Assistants are useful for that. This is why we hire them, right? When you hire an assistant, right before you can afford them. So who to contact with questions as well. Now, if you have any questions, funny enough, we just walked right into that, email training there at ahcpsales.com. Let myself know. Myself and Nick will be watching that box. Say, hey, you know what? I have a few questions for you. Absolutely do. We're more than willing to help. If you have any questions about any of the carriers that we went over, always call Agency Services, the 877-228-8773. I hope everybody has a great week. Enjoy your long weekend. Take some time to yourself, refresh your brain, and we'll see you back here in 2 weeks.